Hello, Jordan. I'm Mark Polk with RV Education 101. I appreciate the opportunity today to speak with you about the brand new Chevy Silverado trucks. Basically, all I want to do here is just run down through some questions I have that I feel that you might be comfortable speaking on. If not, just let me know and we'll move on to the next question.
Okay.
When I think about trucks, I think about work, performance, power, torque, load ratings, and towing capacity. I understand the dilemma between increased fuel economy and maximum performance. The corporate average fuel economy standards is 34.1 miles per gallon for 2016 and goes up to 49.7 by 2025. Is it feasible for an automaker to reach these standards and still have light and medium-duty trucks capable of safely towing travel trailers and fifth wheels?
Yeah, I believe it is. I can't comment on the specific CAFE regulations and our approaches to meeting them, but I can comment with what we've done with the all-new Silverado and the small block Gen 5 engines that go into those. We've done a lot of work on redesigning these engines. They're all new engines from the ground up. In actuality, there's very few carryover parts. I think the carryover parts could fit in a lunch bag. 2 starter bolts, piston pins, circlips, and some valve retainer and keeper parts. So very few parts. But the big enabler for us to improve torque, power, and fuel economy. And those 3 things tend to be mutually exclusive. In many instances, you improve power and torque, you hurt fuel economy. In some instances, you improve fuel economy, you hurt power and torque. We were able to really improve significantly all 3. And one of the keys is direct injection. And the other big key is cylinder deactivation that we offer across the board on every one of our powertrains that go into these trucks. The big enabling feature for the direct injection is it keeps the combustion system cool. So it allows us to raise the compression ratio. And the compression ratio is one of those magic knobs that does allow you to increase torque, power, and fuel economy. But everything else is always an inverse relationship between those two. So these engines, like the L83, for example, the 5.3 and the 4.3, they're going to be running at 11:1 compression ratio.
Wow.
And on a regular fuel engine, that's very high. But because the combustion system is so advanced and well developed, we're able to do that and still have excellent power and torque, very little knock sensitivity, which is really ideal when you're towing. Because if you're towing and the engine's getting hot, you tend to detonate, and when you start to detonate or spark knock, you back off spark, hurts your efficiency, so your fuel economy suffers, it hurts your power. But with these engines, and I've been personally involved in a lot of the testing that was done in Death Valley, you can run in the hottest extreme conditions. We were at 120 degrees in the shade, pulling up maximum trailer towing rating up Death Valley. Engines are hot, oil's hot, coolant's hot, very little knock activity. It just continues to make power and torque all day. Wow. And that's really good for truckers because if you can maximize your spark advance for optimal efficiency, you're going to get your best fuel economy.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Now, Jordan, it would seem to me that increasing fuel economy would require measures like lighter vehicles and downsizing the engine or adding some type of fuel-saving technology to the engine or other components in the powertrain. Can a truck be lighter with a smaller engine and still retain the current load and towing capacities?
Well, it's a very good question. Unfortunately, I can't answer that because I'm not the vehicle expert. I know all about the engines, and we're always going to be looking at mass, and we're always going to be looking at engine efficiency. And sometimes when you downsize the engine, it can be beneficial. But what we're ultimately looking for is how much fuel does it take to propel the vehicle down the road. That's standard roll load condition, for example. And we never want the truck owner to sacrifice the displacement of the engine, the torque that he needs to get the job done. A lot of trucks are work trucks. So we went after optimizing the fuel efficiency of larger displacement engines. And cylinder deactivation is one of those technologies which is so good that when you're in cylinder deactivation mode, that there's no other efficiency gain that approaches the brake-specific fuel consumption of an engine, a V8 engine, for example, running in 4-cylinder mode, or our V6 engine running in 4-cylinder mode. We do a lot of competitive assessments, and we look at one particular point. We call it a magic point. And it's a typical road load. You're going down the road at 2,000 RPM in your vehicle, and it takes a certain amount of torque to do that. And then we look at that same load and speed condition across every other engine out there. It could be a 4-cylinder, turbo engine, bigger V8 engine, and we look at how much fuel does it take to maintain 2,000 RPM with that load. Our engines are the best of the bunch. There's no other competitor engine that seems to come close. And a big enabler of that is the DI system working with AFM when you're in 4-cylinder mode. So for the new Silverado, we put a lot of effort into making sure we can run in 4-cylinder mode as much as possible. And when I say that, what I really mean is we want it to be transparent to the customer, the owner of the vehicle. We don't want them to sacrifice and feel bumps and transition bumps and things that are annoying. We want it to be very seamless. Like he's cruising down the road, he shouldn't know he's in 4-cylinder mode unless he looks at the dashboard and sees it. And we've accomplished that on these new trucks. The mount system, the attenuation of vibration, just the entire powertrain isolation, and the combustion system on how well it works. So we run a lot more AFM with these new engines and new vehicles than we have in the past, and as a result, our fuel economy is going to be really good.
Wow.
And the other thing we look at is real-world fuel economy. Everybody's had frustrations where they buy a vehicle, they see a label on the window, and it's really hard to get that label number. But with our approach, high efficiency, high compression ratio engines, your real-world fuel economy is always going to be good. You don't have to soft pedal it in order to get good fuel efficiency. I won't name my competitors by name, but we've done head-to-head comparisons on drives. We'll do an all-day drive of 200-300 miles, and at the end of the day, it's your fuel economy. We're rotating back and forth in the vehicle so that we don't have one vehicle that's being driven more softly by one particular driver than another, because we have 20 people that are rotating through these vehicles all the time. They're doing watts, they're doing all sorts of driving maneuvers, and at the end of the day, we're always 3 miles per gallon better than our competition.
Wow.
Our real world is really good, and we think that's what's really important to the customer. We want them to be very satisfied that the real world is really good.
Very good. While I've got you here, I just have a question, more personal interest with your background. I'd like to ask, if, in your opinion, would a hybrid or electric-powered vehicle be able to carry and tow the loads required for RVs? And if so, would it still be affordable to RV owners?
That's a really good question. I don't have all the details. I can tell you we're always looking at new technologies. We did a lot with hybrids with our 900 series, our last series of pickup trucks. It was affordable. It also had a lot of good capability. So that technology is always evolving, and we're going to continue to look at it in these type of applications and apply it where it makes sense.
Is GM ready to release the horsepower, torque, and fuel economy mix for the new GM truck engine lineup?
No, because if we were, we would release it.
Okay, good answer.
I know what the power and torque is going to be. I'm really excited to introduce it, but we're doing our final certification.
Okay, so that's what some of these folks at tow are going to be real interested to see, that type of data. Okay, well, Jordan, I think that pretty much does it with what I've got here. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today, and excited to look at the trucks up close and personal.
I can't wait to get a chance to drive them.
Yes.
They drive phenomenal. The refinement, the responsiveness, the overall quality. As soon as you get in and you shut that door and you feel how rock solid that door is, it just exudes quality and refinement and solidity. I mean, we always use the term internally that it feels like it's made out of a block of granite.
Yeah.
These have no comparison. We've done our head-to-heads with our competitors, and the truck is just so well integrated and isolated. You're going to be very pleased. They're like nothing we've ever done before.
I'm excited just reading about all the upgrades, and I think it's just going to be an all-around good vehicle. And I think that from an RV consumer standpoint, they're going to appreciate everything you guys at GM have done.
I think they will. And I can tell you from personal experience, because I'm the engine engineer, they're hot rods. They really are fast.
Wow.
And they're very quiet when they do it.
Good.
You're going to be very impressed.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure talking to you.